Hi, everyone, and welcome to the last Things I Know for July. And today I was reflecting on, I always figure kind of out at the last minute what I want to talk about. And so today I was thinking about a conversation that I had last week with my friend Amy Douglas, who you got to meet on last week's Things I Know when I had my interview with her. She was in town last week, and so we were hanging out, and as coaches do, we ask each other coachy questions. And she actually brought the question of what is a non negotiable, meaning what is so important that you absolutely make sure you do it every single day. And I very quickly responded movement, exercise. For me, I know that getting up and getting exercise in first thing in the morning is incredibly important. It totally sets my day around how I feel mentally and emotionally, and of course, physically. And so it is an absolute non negotiable that I get up and it's part of my morning routine before, usually pretty much before anybody even wakes up in the morning. Um, the funny thing is, just because it's a non negotiable doesn't mean it's always easy. And I'm not sometimes talking myself into it. And when I say sometimes, I mean at least a couple of times a week. And it could be for various reasons. It could be because I'm tired. It could be because whatever I decided I wanted to do that day it doesn't sound good. Um, I struggled with it a little bit last week, and I think partially had to do with we had a lot of early morning gray mornings, and that makes it a little bit harder for me versus today. It was sunny when I woke up, and that was easier. The funny thing is, I made this grand, very easy declaration to Amy on Thursday, and then Friday morning I woke up, it was cloudy, and I laid there thinking, I don't want to do this. I don't want to work out. And there is almost that like devil angel situation where it's like, you'll feel better if you do, but I don't want to. So just because it's a non-negotiable, just because it's something I know that it is makes me feel good, doesn't necessarily mean it's easy to do. So why do I do it? Which was a question Amy had. Like I then saw her for breakfast that next morning, and I was like, how funny that I made this grand declaration that exercise is a non-negotiable, movement's a non-negotiable, and then this morning I was like, I don't want to. And so she asked, well, why did I that? Why didn't I let myself off the hook? Why didn't I don't know if that's the word she said, but why did you work out if you didn't want to? And here's the thing. I know how good it makes me feel. So even though sometimes I don't want to, it's worth keeping that commitment to myself. Knowing that making that first step is the hardest step. Once I get up and I get in my exercise clothes and I get out my weights or I put on my shoes or whatever it might be, I will be able to move forward. And when I'm done, I am going to feel great physically, but also I'm going to feel great mentally because I will have kept my promise to myself. And there's the key. If my promise to myself is I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to move, then when I keep that promise, I keep the trust that I have created for myself. People always talk about how confident I am. I'm confident because I do what I say I'm going to do. That was something I learned from my dad forever ago. Say what you're going to do and do what you say. And that is as true for you and your responsibilities to yourself as it is for your responsibilities to your friends, to your clients, to your family. And so while I did have a plan on Friday morning of getting up and going for a run, again, a commitment I was making because I'm, as you all know, doing the AIDS ride for Chicago, and I've committed to 50 miles of running before September 13th. That was going to be one of my running days. That did not feel right. That I didn't want to do. And so instead I got up and I did some weights. And when I was done, I had kept my commitment to myself. I had kept my promise to myself. When you promise yourself something and you blow it off, you erode the trust the same way you erode trust if you have a friend and you blow them off. Now, if you guys have been watching my videos for a while, you know this is a reoccurring theme. But it strikes me again because every time somebody says to me, wow, you've got so much confidence, I always harken back to I don't let myself down. Sometimes I pivot. Sometimes I change my mind around what I want to do or how something's going to look. But if I say I'm going to do something for me, if I say I'm going to do something for you, I'm going to do it. And that is what builds trust. So I guess my question today, and I don't often have a question, but I am curious. You can put it here in the comments, or you can message me privately if you don't want to put it out here publicly. I'm curious, if you think about it, do you let yourself down on a regular basis? And if you do, how would you like to change that? What could be the next step of fulfilling the commitments you make to yourself? Some of us need goals. Again, that's one of the reasons I'm loved that I'm doing the AIDS ride, because I have this goal of 50 miles by September 13th run, not in one day, over the course of time. It's adding up. But because I have that goal, it's going to make me go outside and run more than I would if I didn't have that goal. So, some of us need goals. Some of us need accountability. Some of us need someone to check in on them and make sure they're still doing what they say they're going to do. Obviously, that's what I do as a coach. But you can get that from your friends. You can get that from your family, as long as they're going to hold your feet to the fire, as long as they're going to hold you to your highest vision. So my question is, how do you let yourself down? And would you like to change that so that you can build your own confidence muscle? Next week, I think I'm going to talk about being present. 2020 is all about hindsight, typically. But this 2020, to me, is all about being present. So I think that's going to be my topic next week. I vacillated a little back and forth, but this morning I was working out, and that's another reason I like to work out. I always come up with my best ideas. For this week, how do you typically let yourself down? And then next week, join me back here for the things I know to talk about being present. All right. Have a great week. I'll see you next week.